Jinn in every religion, Jinn in Christianity, unveiling the mysterious spirit, beings in Christian beliefs across cultures. When we hear the word Jinn, we often think of Islamic theology, mysterious, unseen beings created from smokeless fire. But what if I told you that Christianity too has its own long-standing beliefs in spiritual beings that share striking similarities with Jinn? In this video, we'll explore the Jinn Christianity world, a hidden spiritual dimension where ancient Christian teachings and folklore reflect a deep and complex view of invisible entities often misunderstood or overlooked. In Christianity, the concept of Jinn, as described in Islam, doesn't appear directly by name. However, the Bible frequently refers to evil spirits, or unclean spirits, and demons, supernatural beings that can possess, tempt, or mislead humans. These beings are often portrayed as fallen angels, once heavenly creatures who rebelled against God and were cast out of heaven, led by Satan. While not called Jinn, these spirits function very similarly to Jinn in Islam. They are invisible, intelligent, and capable of influencing the human world. One of the most well-known examples appears in the New Testament, where Jesus is shown casting out demons from people, healing them spiritually and physically. These unclean spirits often spoke through the possessed, recognized Jesus as the Son of God, and were afraid of being banished. This echoes Islamic tales of Jinn, who possess humans or cause mental and physical disturbances, and also fear holy names or divine punishment. What makes the Jinn Christianity world fascinating is how diverse it becomes across cultures. In African Christian communities, especially in Ethiopia and Nigeria, local traditions often blend Christian teachings with indigenous beliefs in spirits, resulting in views of Jinn-like beings who live in forests, rivers, or abandoned places. In many Latin American Christian traditions, evil spirits are believed to dwell in cursed places or objects, much like the concept of Jinn haunting specific locations in Islamic culture. In medieval Europe, Christian thinkers debated the nature of spirits and whether they could take physical form. Some believed in creatures like incubi or succubi, seductive spirits believed to attack people in their sleep. Others feared forest spirits, household demons or fairies, viewing them as fallen beings who once served God. Many of these superstitions mirror Jinn folklore from the Muslim world, showing that these ideas crossed cultural and religious boundaries over centuries. Even today, many Christians across the world believe in spiritual warfare, the idea that invisible forces of good and evil are constantly battling over human souls. This worldview reinforces the idea that Jinn-like beings are real and active in the world, even if Christianity uses different terms to describe them. In conclusion, while Christianity does not use the word Jinn, the religion is full of beliefs about spiritual beings that act in very similar ways. Whether we call them demons, spirits, or fallen angels, the Jinn Christianity world is rich with mystery, history, and cross-cultural connections. So join us as we uncover how this hidden world of unseen beings shapes faith, fear, and fascination across the Christian world. In the Jinn Christianity world, while the term Jinn isn't explicitly used, the presence of spirit-like beings mirrors the broader human fascination with invisible forces, showing how deeply embedded these beliefs are across Christian traditions and cultures. Jinn in Islam, spirit beings created from smokeless fire, believed in across Muslim cultures. Worldwide, in Islam, Jinn are real, powerful, and unseen beings created by Allah from smokeless fire, as mentioned in the Quran, Surah Al-Hijr 15:27 and Surah Ar-Rahman 55:15. They are not symbolic or mythical, rather they are intelligent creatures with free will, just like humans. This means they can choose to believe or disbelieve, obey or rebel. The Jinn live in a parallel world, often hidden from human senses, but capable of influencing our world in mysterious ways. Belief in Jinn is a core part of Islamic theology, with their existence affirmed in multiple hadiths and Quranic verses. Muslims around the world from the Middle East to South Asia and Africa, hold various cultural beliefs about jinn, from stories of possession and protection to legends of jinn tribes living in deserts or ruins. The most famous among them is Iblis, a jinn who refused to bow to Adam and became Shaitan, Satan. Islam teaches that not all jinn are evil, some are good, and some have even embraced Islam. Others, however, deceive, whisper evil thoughts, waswasa, or try to mislead people, often mistaken for demons in Western interpretation. While the jinn remain invisible, they are thought to interact with the human world, influencing minds, tempting hearts, and even forming contracts with those who seek power through forbidden means like sihr, black magic. Islamic scholars warn against trying to communicate with jinn and instead emphasize reciting Quranic verses like Ayat al-Kursi or Surah al-Falaq and An-Nas for protection. In popular Muslim cultures, stories of haunted homes, mysterious illnesses, or strange behavior are sometimes attributed to jinn, showing how deeply these beings are embedded in spiritual life. Overall, the world of jinn in Islam is both mysterious and significant, bridging the seen and unseen and reminding believers of a reality far beyond the physical, one where free will, faith, and hidden beings coexist. In the Jinn Islam world, these beings are not just myth, they are a core part of theology and daily spiritual life, reminding believers of the unseen dimensions that influence both good and evil. Jinn in Hinduism, exploring mysterious spirit-like beings in Hindu mythology, regional folklore, and religious thought. While the word jinn is not directly used in Hindu scriptures, the concept of supernatural spirit beings with free will, magical powers, and the ability to influence the human world has existed in Hinduism for thousands of years. In Hindu thought, beings similar to jinn are often referred to as bhutas, pretas, pisachas, or even yakshas and rakshasas, depending on their nature, intentions, and roles in mythology. These spirit entities appear frequently across the Puranas, the Mahabharata, and the Ramayana, interacting with gods, humans, and sages. They are believed to dwell in unseen realms, just as jinn are said to live in parallel worlds in Islamic tradition. Among these, pisachas resemble malevolent jinn the most, invisible entities that can possess, deceive, or influence people, often linked to illness or madness. On the other hand, yakshas and gandharvas may resemble more neutral or even benevolent jinn, powerful spiritual beings who can bestow wealth, music, or knowledge, yet live in their own mystical realms. In rural India and South Asian folklore, many believe in local spirits that haunt old buildings, trees, or cremation grounds, very similar to jinn stories from Muslim cultures. These spirits are often said to have been wronged souls or beings bound to earth due to unfulfilled desires, echoing the idea of free-willed jinn who choose their own paths. Hindu rituals like pujas, mantras, and yajnas, fire sacrifices, are used to ward off such spirits, just as Quranic verses are recited for protection in Islamic practice. Interestingly, both religions agree that interacting with these beings can be dangerous, and spiritual discipline is the key to protection. The Atharva Veda, one of the 4 Vedas in Hinduism, contains many hymns meant to protect against evil spirits, indicating that belief in such forces has always been part of the Hindu worldview. It is also worth noting that in some syncretic Indian traditions, especially where Hindu and Muslim communities have coexisted for centuries, beliefs about jinn and Hindu spirit beings have sometimes merged in folk stories, creating a rich blend of mythologies. In all, while Hinduism does not describe jinn in the same way Islam does, it absolutely contains parallel spirit beings who are just as powerful, mysterious, and deeply embedded in religious life and regional folklore. These beings serve as a reminder that across faiths there has always been a fascination with the invisible forces that shape human destiny. In the Jinn Hinduism world, though the word jinn may be missing, powerful spirit beings play a vital role in mythology and everyday spirituality, revealing how all cultures have ways of understanding the mystical and unseen. Jinn, in Buddhism, understanding the role of invisible spirits and energetic forces across Buddhist cultures and regions. Buddhism doesn't use the exact term Jinn, but across Buddhist cultures, there is a strong belief in supernatural spirit beings that closely resemble Jinn in behavior and function. These beings include yakshas, pretas, hungry ghosts, devas, gods, and nats, invisible entities that live in spiritual realms and interact with the human world. Like Jinn, they can be benevolent, harmful, or neutral, depending on their karmic condition and emotions. In countries like Thailand, Sri Lanka, and Tibet, it's common to perform rituals to ward off bad spirits or invite protection from guardian beings. Some spirits may possess humans or cause illness, much like harmful jinn in Islam. Tibetan Buddhism, in particular, recognizes many wrathful and protective spirits who must be respected and pacified through specific chants or offerings. While jinn in Islam are created from smokeless fire, Buddhist spirit beings are often trapped in their existence due to karma and may seek release or interaction with the human realm. Across the Jinn Buddhism world, these beings reflect deep spiritual beliefs about unseen energies, morality, and the complexity of life beyond the physical. In the Jinn Buddhism world, unseen energies and spirit forces are not feared, but acknowledged as part of the karmic journey, guiding humans to enlightenment or challenging them with suffering, much like the Jinn of other faiths. Jinn in Sikhism, exploring the existence of supernatural forces within Sikh spiritual philosophy. In Sikhism, the concept of Jinn, as known in Islam, does not have a direct counterpart. The Sikh holy scripture, Guru Granth Sahib, emphasizes the oneness of God, Waheguru, and promotes a deep spiritual connection free from fear of spirits or supernatural entity. Sikhism focuses more on internal transformation, divine wisdom, and karma, rather than on external beings like jinn. However, culturally, especially in regions like Punjab, where Sikhism originated, belief in spirits, ghosts, and jinn-like beings has existed due to local folklore and inter-religious influence. Some Sikhs may acknowledge the existence of invisible forces or energies, especially in rural traditions, but these are not a part of core Sikh doctrine. Sikh teachings clearly advise against superstition, rituals to appease spirits, or fear of ghosts, emphasizing instead the remembrance of God, Nam Simran, as the true path to protection and peace. In the Jinn Sikhism world, while external influences might introduce the idea of spirit being, true Sikh philosophy encourages rational thought, devotion, and living a moral life under the guidance of the Guru, seeing all power as belonging to the divine alone. In the Jinn Sikhism world, the idea of supernatural beings exists more in cultural overlaps than scripture, and Sikhism's core philosophy centers on divine remembrance and inner strength as the true protection from all unseen forces. Jinn in Judaism, unveiling supernatural entities in ancient Jewish thought. In Judaism, there is no exact equivalent to the Islamic concept of jinn, but Jewish tradition and mysticism do include beliefs in supernatural beings. The most closely related entities are shedim, which are spirit-like beings mentioned in the Talmud and other Jewish. Shedim are described as invisible beings that live among humans, have free will, and can act in both good and bad ways, much like the jinn. The Kabbalistic tradition, Jewish mysticism, expands further, discussing spiritual worlds and various non-human entities that influence reality. Some texts mention that shedim were created during the twilight of the sixth day of creation, similar to how jinn are believed to be created before humans. Like jinn, shedim are said to eat, drink, procreate, and even die. In the Jinn Judaism world, these beings represent the mystery of unseen forces and the spiritual realm. However, Judaism strongly emphasizes monotheism and the authority of God over all creatures, including spirits. While stories of demons and supernatural forces exist in folklore, Jewish practice focuses more on ethical living, prayer, and adherence to God's commandments, rather than fear of or engagement with such entities. In the Jinn Judaism world, Though known by different names and forms, spirit beings echo the idea that the unseen world holds great power, always under divine command, and always challenging humans to live ethically and faithfully.